To all of you guys, we welcome you. Randy, have a seat if you want. You don't need to stand for the whole 90 minutes, my friend. Okay, very good. So again, if you do have something that looks like this, please put them on stun or vibrate, turn them off, whatever, right? Okay, now the second thing is that we are a mastermind. So what are we, guys?
Mastermind.
And that's exactly right. We are a mastermind. And who knows what the definition of a mastermind is? Any ideas? Give it a shot.
A brilliant individual, I would say.
A brilliant individual? Okay, that might be an interesting...
Someone who applies their knowledge.
Okay, all right. Anybody want to throw something in on that? Randy, definition of a mastermind?
Two our minds coming together and working on stuff in a spirit of harmony.
Okay, all right. So whenever two or more minds, so you can't have a mastermind with yourself. Right? Actually, if you believe in Napoleon Hill, the ultimate mastermind is when you're vibrating at the highest of levels and you're actually masterminding with the universe.
He had the dinner party every night.
I love it.
What's that?
He had that dinner party every night.
That's right, exactly. When you're vibrating at the right frequency, boy, I mean, that's what warrior training is all about. That we don't live in our false self, we live in our higher self. How many believe we actually have a higher self, right? So, the point here, though, is that here on this physical world, one of the things that is the greatest tools that we have available to us that virtually nobody ever learns about and never really truly appreciates, and it's one of the principles in the philosophy of success written by none other than Napoleon Hill. How many guys know who Napoleon Hill is?
Think and Grow Rich.
And he wrote the book Think and Grow Rich. And the Think and Grow Rich was really the philosophy of success. What was it, guys? Are you guys awake? What was it?
Philosophy
of success. And a philosophy is made up of principles. So philosophy is made up of
principles.
What's the word?
Principles.
Yeah, right, exactly. Okay, so when we learn these principles, then you know what? Amazing things happen. And one of the principles of the philosophy of success, in other words, he says, you must be this person if you want to be successful. How many agree? That's what he was saying. He said, I've studied the 500 most successful people, and I've studied 25,000 of the least successful people, and here's the difference. This is what I see. The most successful people have adopted this philosophy, and they do all these 13 things. This is what they do. I'm going to tell them to you, you should do them too. How many think that's a good idea? That's what Napoleon Hill was saying, right? That's what it was. Really, what he should have called the book is, Don't Think and Grow Rich. Just read the frickin' book and follow what I say, right? The problem is everybody reads it and then they start thinking too much and then forget the book, right? Because everybody outsmarts themselves. Everybody is so much smarter. They say, oh, I know a faster way, an easier way, a simpler way. I don't have
their
to
own
do
way.
that. And he says, principle number, I think it's 8, and it's either 8, I think it's 8. Principle number 8 is mastermind. Mastermind. Your mind only knows, out of all the information that's out there on the planet, how much of it do you think your mind actually contains?
Very small.
Minuscule.
Minuscule? Beyond minuscule. Out of all, and of the information that you do have stored inside your mind, how much of it do you think is actually accurate and true?
They say most people only use 40% of their brain potential.
3%.
Oh, is it 3%?
Yeah, 40%, they're super geniuses.
Yeah.
3%, man, 97%. Good morning. 97% of our creative thinking capacity goes unused. For the most part, we think about, what am I going to wear today? What am I going to eat for lunch today? What am I going to watch on TV tonight? That's it. In terms of what can I do to grow myself, to grow my business, how can I learn to become better at marketing? How can I learn to become better at sales? How can I learn to become better at promoting? They get on Facebook and they send messages back and forth, or they get on text messaging. And out of their 8 hours that they're supposed to be productive, how many hours do you think most people are actually productive throughout a day? Take a guess.
30 minutes.
Maybe.
Seriously.
When an employer is paying somebody for 40 hours a week, you know how many hours that person is actually doing the work that they're being paid to do? I know. I ran major companies. If they're not being supervised and monitored constantly, you know what they're doing? They're checking their emails, they're checking Facebook, they're checking Twitter. And nobody can tell me differently. I don't know virtually anybody that if they're getting paid for a 40-hour work week actually works 40 hours. True.
True.
This is human nature. Now imagine if you work for yourself and there's nobody supervising you. Then it goes way down. I know people that waste days, weeks, months. I mean, if you really knew how to manage yourself, manage your time, have definite clear goals, you would get done more in an 8-hour day than most people get done in a week. How many would agree? Mm-hmm. I see it all the time. If you guys could go from being in the slow lane going 35 miles an hour to going 245 miles an hour in the fast lane, if you simply got off the lane you were on, reprogrammed yourself to think more successfully, and adopted a lot of things we're going to be talking about today. Now, one of the things we always do is we mastermind. And the reason that we mastermind is because as much information as I may know, which is a thimble, in the ocean, it's like a spit in the ocean. That's how much information I know. And half of what I know is bullshit. And I know what I know is bullshit, but you know, and that's why you know, I'm going to tell you guys, don't believe a word I say. And if you really want to be smart, don't believe a word you say. Right? Don't believe a word you say. In fact, don't believe a thought you think. If you understood how we've all been programmed, we're going to talk about it today. I said to you before we started, I said, how many of you guys really truly want to have your life transformed this morning? I mean, really?
Oh.
Well, that's what's going to happen this morning with this wealth file, is our life is going to be transformed this morning. And for those of you that are on board, Randy, do we have anybody on board with us so far this morning? Anybody joining us?
Yeah, Joey Hamilton, Brian Ponciano,
Hey,
Belen Griff,
BP. Okay, Bella.
Raquel Reinhardt,
Okay.
Jennifer Martin, Michelle Honer.
Okay, well, welcome to all of you guys. Thank you, Randy. Welcome. If you have any comments every once in a while, go ahead and throw them in there. I'm going to ask Randy to read back your comments. So thank you for masterminding with us, and you can throw in your 2 cents as well. And welcome, Janice. So it's good to see you as well. Okay, so again, a mastermind. Remember, I know only a small amount of all the information that's out there. And I'm 65 years old, and I spent almost all of my life in business. So even though I know a lot about business, I have an MBA, I have a CPA, I've worked for major corporations, I've seen the best of the best, and I spent my entire life, even when I was growing up, I had a family business we were involved in. So my whole life has been business, and even though I've focused all of my attention on business, and business is about people, how many would agree? So I spent a lot of my time in human psychology, because human psychology is really dealing with other people. Right? Understanding why people do what they do, think the way they think. How many think that's a good thing to know? And how does our mind work? How many think it would be a good idea to understand how our mind works? Joey, so great to see you, my friend. Welcome. So again, you know, the point here is that I only know so much, but Janice knows things I don't know. Amy knows things I don't know. In fact, all of you guys know things I don't know. How many would agree? And everybody that's watching, you guys know things I don't know. And the purpose of a mastermind is, as we talk about things, we're all coming from a totally different space, a totally different energy, a whole different set of beliefs, a whole different knowledge base. How many would agree? Right? And then, so if I'm masterminding with you guys, and we're talking about something, and an idea pops up in your mind, and you raise your hand, and I say, yeah, what do you got? And you throw out an idea. That's an idea that none of us else would have known if you didn't throw it out. Isn't that true? Raise your hand if you agree that's true, right? And that's why you have to be open. What's the word?
Open.
What's the word, guys?
Open.
Thank you. That the best ideas that are going to come out of this mastermind are not going to come from Jeff. It's going to be coming from you, or it's going to be coming from someone on Facebook that throws an idea out there. And then once you hear somebody's new idea, that might say, oh, well, if you can do that, you can also do this. Raise your hand if you agree that's true, right? And what ends up happening is all of our minds together, we create what's called synergy. What's the word?
Synergy.
And who knows what the word synergy means? Go ahead, Randy.
I worked in the corporate world. It means layoffs.
It means layoffs. Synergy really means, what it means is that when the whole is greater than the individual parts. You guys know what I'm talking about? So when one mind and one mind come together, you don't have two minds, you have three minds, because you have a blending of both minds. Isn't that true? Mm-hmm. But what if we have 4 or 5 or 6 or 8 or 10 people, all minds coming together in the spirit of
Harmony.
what's the word, guys?
Harmony.
Yeah, we're not in it. There's nobody in it for ulterior motives. Everybody's in it because they know that they stand to learn and gain from this, and they want to share and help everybody else learn and gain as well. How many think that's a good idea? Okay, so we're all here for the same reason. We're here in the spirit of
Harmony.
Thank you. We're here in the spirit of harmony. And now, if we're vibrating at the right place, and we're really thinking about what's going on, and we come up with an idea and we share it, then everybody else is coming from that same vibration, then we get the best of ideas. How many think that's a good idea? Okay. So how often do you think you should mastermind?
Every chance you get.
Every chance you get. What does that mean, once a week? How often do you guys think you should mastermind?
At least once a week.
At least once a week. Yeah? Anybody else have any thoughts on that? Yeah.
That's probably every day.
Every day.
I mean, it could be just a phone call, right?
Absolutely. How many different people could you be masterminding with?
A lot. Yep.
What kind of people would you want to be masterminding with?
Business owners, entrepreneurs, people that think like you, have the same goals.
See, you and I are on exactly the same wavelength. Exactly, right?
Yep.
And because those are the people that I'm vibrating with, people that are business owners or founders or entrepreneurs or sales professionals.
Visionaries.
You know, those kinds of people, absolutely, those kinds of people, those are the kinds of people that I like to mastermind with. Because if I'm talking to somebody and let's say, good morning, let's say they're I don't know, it doesn't matter what business they're in. Let's say that they do branding for people. Okay, so you meet them, they do branding. And you get to meet them and they say, well, yeah, let me kind of show you some of the latest really cool stuff that's out there now. And you see the stuff and say, holy crap, I'll bet I know a ton of people that would love to know about this, right? And so I say, you know what? At my offices, I have all these big rooms where we could host some kind of an event, and we could show all these people your really cool stuff. And you want to do like a joint venture on that. And what do you think they might say? They say, well, I know a bigger place, and I know a lot more people than you. Let's do it at my place. I don't care. It makes no difference to me. But you know what? As you talk to people, you find opportunities. Raise your hand, believe you can find them. Yeah. And that you do that by masterminding. What do you do?
Masterminding.
So, you know, when we're masterminding here, we're masterminding for 90 minutes. I mastermind with different people 3 to 5 times a day, every day. Every day. And you know what kinds of people I'm masterminding with? 3 to 5 people every single day. You know what kind of people they are? They're business owners, they're founders, they're entrepreneurs, they're sales professionals. Or they're professionals that want to get into business for themselves, and they're looking for ideas. They're looking for, you know, a way to get on the right track, right? Do you guys know I teach a program called the Money Machine Express? Raise your hand if you've ever heard of it. Okay, the Money Machine Express, how to become financially free in your own business in 3 years or less. How many would like that? Did you know that there's actually a template? What's it called?
Template.
I will show you exactly step by step how you go from where you are to be financially free in 3 years or less. And the beautiful thing about it is because it's a template, you just follow the template, right? It's a system. What's the word?
System.
How many of you guys want to get financially free? The fastest way to get there is to follow a proven
System.
Raise your hand, believe that's true, right? Did you know the fastest way for permanent change is to model, what's the word?
Model.
A system that's already working. It's kind of like, what's the old expression? If you want to get rich, do what rich people do. Yeah. Does it take a genius to do that, to figure that out? Okay. Do you think you need to recreate the wheel?
No.
Or do you think there's already systems out there that already work charming? Hey, if you've joined an MLM, how many have ever heard? Who knows what MLM stands for? Do they have a system for everything? Here's how we recruit.
Yep.
Here's how we, good morning, right? Raise your hand if you agree that they are, so if you join an MLM, they already got all the systems created for you. True or true?
True.
Yeah. If you buy a franchise, you think you got to create all the systems, or do you think they've already got all the systems created for you? What do you think?
They're created.
They created all the systems, right? Okay. Let's say you join an affiliate program. You think the affiliate program already has the system? Here's all the marketing material you get to send out from my stuff. You think they already have the system in place?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a system? Do you have a system that you can count on every single day that brings you fresh new leads, fresh new customers, fresh new JV partners, fresh new referral partners? Do you have a system? What's the word?
System.
That you can count on. What are the words?
Count on.
Every single day, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, that brings you fresh, new, high quality people to talk to all the time. How many of you guys have that system? Then you do not have a business. You don't. So what I teach in the Money Machine Express is how do you create that. First of all, you can't ever make any serious money until you have systems. How many would agree with me? Okay, when were you taught to create systems? How many of you are experts at creating systems? How many of you really don't know the first darn thing about really creating systems the right way? How many think it will be an advantage to you to know how to create systems? Without those systems, you are what we call a self-employed person. You bought yourself a job. When you're not working, you know how much money you're making? None. What is the difference between being self-employed and being a business owner? Who knows the difference? Everybody mistakes it. They say, oh, I have a business. No, you are self-employed. You can call it a business if you want, but when you're not working, how much money is that business making? Then you don't have a business. You've been totally misled to believe that working for yourself means you own a business. No, you own a job, and when you own a business, that job owns you. True or true?
True.
24/7, 365. I know so many people that say they own a business. That is not true. They own a job that owns them. True or true?
True.
This is not what we're talking about here. What we are talking about is owning a business. How many of you guys have heard about CEOs and presidents of companies, and they spend more time on the golf course than they spend in the office? Raise your hand if you've heard of those people. Yeah, they own a business. When they're not in the office, the systems are taking care of the business. True or true? True. Did they create those systems? Yeah. Either they created those systems or they said, oh, that's how they do it in that company. That's how we're going to do it in this company. I like that. They set high standards. They fire people. They don't keep up to those standards. They have a system for filtering through the people. They have a system for doing everything. They monitor and check to make sure everything is done up to their standards. Wow, I like that. And you know what? Their customers have an ultimate buying experience. What do their customers have?
Ultimate buying experience.
If you have an ultimate buying experience with a company, are you happy to go back to them again?
Yes.
Are you happy to refer people to them?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Would you like to maybe even joint venture with them? Yeah, maybe even represent them, become an affiliate of theirs, represent, you know, hey, I'm using their product, it's fantastic. Look at the results I'm getting. You ought to check them out. And if they check them out and they buy, boom, you just made money. How much like that? Yeah, that's called an affiliate program. What's it called?
Affiliate program.
Yeah, who are your best salespeople, guys?
They use your
Customers.
Happy customers. How many would agree? Man, if you're using somebody's product or service and you love them and you like their product or service, are you happy to share that with everybody you know that might need or want what they got? Raise your hand.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a no-brainer, guys. It's totally a no-brainer. What we want to do during these 90 minutes today is I want to get you guys on a totally different level of vibration than where you are right now. Today's wealth file is going to do that. I promise you that. Today's wealth file is a life-changing wealth file because you're going to understand the difference between work energy and leverage energy. And this is going to change your life forever. It's so important because we've been programmed, all of us have been programmed that if we want money, we have to
work.
raise your hand if that's how you're programmed. Yeah, nobody said if you want money, go earn passive income. Nobody ever said that. But we're going to talk about why financial freedom is really what we all want. How many of you guys would like to have financial freedom? And we're going to talk about what the definition of financial freedom is. And we're going to be talking about why the only way you can ever truly in your lifetime become financially free is when you become an expert at creating a certain type of income. Income that comes in even when you're not working. What do they call that kind of income? Passive or residual income. Now, if you were told from the time you were 2, 3, 4, 5 years old that to become financially free, raise your hand if you want to become financially free. Raise your hand if you think everybody wants financial freedom. This is not a secret, but it is a secret. Most people don't realize that we're all the same. We all want freedom. Raise your hand if you want freedom. Right? And if you're watching, I guarantee you, you want freedom too. And when we discuss what freedom really means, and the definition of it, you realize you need to be creating what kind of income, guys?
Passive residual income.
Okay, so when you were 2, 3, 4 years old, someone said, whoa, you want freedom so that you can travel the world, so that you can make a difference, so that instead of spending all of your life working hard just to earn a living, you can make a big impact in this world. You do that becoming free. And you do that by learning how to create passive income streams. If you were 3, 4, 5, 6 years old, when you learned that, would that have changed maybe some of the decisions and career choices you made?
Absolutely.
Yeah, when would you have started focusing in on doing things that would start creating passive income so you can have freedom? At what age?
Age 3.
Age 3. Instead of when? For most people, never. For most people, never. They don't. I know people in their 50s and 60s, they never thought about creating passive income streams, and they're not working at creating it now. When will they ever be free? No, because they only have one kind of income, and that's called what kind of income?
Social Security.
Working income, and then they'll have Social Security, right? Not easy to live on Social Security these days, trust me. I'm sure, I know enough of those people. All right. So anytime I do any speaking or training, I always have 2 rules. How many rules?
2 rules.
Thank you. And the first rule is this: don't believe a word I say. And why do I always remind you not to believe a word I say? Yeah, exactly. Thank you. It's based on my own experience, so it doesn't make it true, it doesn't make it false, it doesn't make it right, and it doesn't make it wrong. It just makes it my experience, but whose experience is important here today?
Mine.
Yeah, totally. It's your experience that's important here today. So all I can tell you, the principles and ideas we're going to be talking about today and every Tuesday morning have transformed my life and have now transformed the lives of literally thousands and thousands and thousands. Thank you. Thousands of other people. And if you learn them, and much more importantly, if you actually do them in your life, I believe that your life can be transformed too. So how many guys would be willing to be open for the morning? Great. Anybody not? Okay, we're going to find out. Now, as for rule number 2, since you're all spending your precious time here, how many would agree your time is precious? See, to me, what's more precious than our time? What's more precious than our time? Nothing. Pretty much. So since we're spending our precious time here, how many of you guys want to get the very, very most out of this morning? Great, thank you. How many want to learn faster? Terrific. How many want to remember more of what you learned? Yeah, and research indicates the key to that is what?
Participation.
Yeah, the word's participation. What's the word, guys?
Participation.
Participation and involvement, absolutely. How many would agree? Right? Okay, so how many of you guys know us to ask a lot of questions? And what the questions do?
Hook the mind.
Yeah, questions hook the mind. What do questions do, guys?
They hook the mind.
Yeah, questions hook the mind. So how many of you guys know us to ask a lot of questions? Have you noticed? Yeah, ask a lot of questions, right? Okay. So, the thing is that when it comes to asking questions, how many of you guys are in business or in sales or in marketing of some sort? How many of you guys have clients or you'd like to have clients? How many would like to have clients actually listen to you every once in a while? Right? So from now on, what are you going to do? You're going to ask them a question. Yeah, and I will teach you depending on the situation. Like if you're networking, how many would agree networking is critical to your success? See, to me, if you guys would like to become financially free in the next 3 years, how many would like to become financially free even faster than that? I will tell you that one of the most fundamental parts that everybody is missing out on is that none of you are building your network, not the way you need to build your network. Your network equals your net worth. How many would agree? And over the next 2 to 3 years, if you really worked on building your network, And what kind of people we were talking about earlier, Tim, we were talking about, what kind of a network would you want to be building? Because you can brainstorm with your network, you can leverage your network. In fact, we're going to talk about it in today's wealth file. How do you leverage other people? Can you leverage other people?
Absolutely.
In how many different ways can you leverage other people?
So many.
In so many ways. Their talent, their knowledge, their
money.
experience, their referrals, their money, their credit. How many different ways can you work with other people?
Lots.
Well, if you had a whole bunch of successful people that would gladly take a phone call from you and you had an idea, what do you think the odds are that at least 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 would say, let's do it?
Yeah, pretty good.
Okay, do you have that network now? Should you be constantly building that network? I'm telling you, I've seen some of the most successful people, they're constantly building their network. Now, when you're building a network, it's not the same thing as selling. How many would agree? Networking is not selling. Okay. So do you think there's already a proven, incredibly brilliant methodology to become the world's greatest networker? You think there's already books written on, here is exactly how to network, so within a short period of time, people get to know you, like you, and trust you. Because are you going to do business with people you know, like, and trust?
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you can't do business with them, but you know, like, and trust them, and you know other people, because everybody has their own circle of people, raise your hand if that's true, right? So they said, well, I don't really need what you got, Tim, but I got 47 people in my client base that could all use what you got. Is that a good situation?
Great situation.
Yeah, absolutely. How many of those people would you like to know? What they called circles of influence. What are they called?
Circles of influence.
Okay, how many circles of influence do you have in your network?
Not enough.
If you don't have any, I could already tell you how much money you're making.
Hundreds.
And if you have hundreds of circles of influence, now you have to learn how to leverage them. What's in it for them? How can you get them to really know you, like you, and
Trust you.
yeah, absolutely. And so, one of the secrets is to learn how to ask the right.
Questions.
Yeah, in networking situations, what I call them is feel-good questions. What are they called?
Feel good questions.
If you ask somebody a feel-good question, how do you think they're going to feel? Yeah, and who do they think they're going to associate that good feeling with?
You.
Okay, you do that a couple of 3 times, guess what? They love you. Because guess who they're talking about? Yeah, the whole conversation is geared on who? You or them?
Man.
Yeah, you think if you know how to shut up and just ask the right feel-good questions, you can get people talking like for 2 hours. You'll know their whole life story. They won't even remember your name. True or true?
True.
It happens all the time when you get good at it. You think it's a learnable skill?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a totally learnable skill. The more circles of influence, the more people that you can connect with. And by the way, can you be authentic or do you have to fake it? You can be authentic. So it's not like you're being manipulative. You're just learning how to become a genuinely authentic person. You like to connect with people. The more you learn about them, the more you might see an opportunity where, have you ever read this book, E-Myth? I'm saying that one all the time. I'm meeting people all the time and I'll say, have you ever read the book E-Myth? Because they'll talk, they're in business.
Yeah.
And I'm listening to what they're doing. And I'm saying, this person doesn't have a freaking clue. He doesn't. And what's scary is that most people I meet, in fact I would say 98% of all the people I meet, are missing critical steps in being successful in business. Almost all of them have mistakenly bought into the idea that being self-employed, which means owning a job, which generally owns you, is the same thing as owning a business. Nothing could be further from the truth. And we're going to talk about that in today's wealth call, right? Okay, all right. So sometimes I leave the last word off the end of my sentence and your mind just fills in the
Right.
Very good, very good. You guys are well trained. All right. Sometimes I'll ask you to write something down, and sometimes I ask you to repeat things. To what?
Repeat things.
To what?
Repeat things.
Now, why do I ask you to repeat something? Repetition. Your repetition. Why else? So you'll remember it. Why
So
else?
you get it on a cellular level into
So
your
you-
subconscious mind.
I like that. So you say it at the cellular level, subconscious mind. Okay, why else?
Engage.
So keep you engaged. Yes, yes. Go ahead, Jonathan. By the way, I love your shirt, man.
Thank you. Because when you say something, it means one thing, but when I say it, it means everything.
Isn't that true? If I say it means one thing, if you say it means
Every.
how many would agree? That's true. Okay, so so how many of you guys are willing to participate 100%? Is there anybody not? Okay, we're going to find out. And just for the record, how many of you guys wouldn't raise your hands no matter what I asked you? Okay, very good. How many of you guys want to have some fun? Okay, good. And again, I would encourage, if you're watching, to participate at 100% yourself, right? Because how you do anything is how you do
everything.
Say it in the singular. How I do anything is how I do everything. Let me hear you.
How I do anything is how I do everything.
Again, please.
How I do anything is how I do everything.
Okay, so we're here today. I hope every single one of you are here because deep down in your core, at the deepest level of your subconscious mind, when you're in your highest self, you know that there's so much untapped potential inside of you that's just starting to come out. How many of you feel that way? See, I feel that way. That I barely scratched the surface of my potential. And I think those of you that are home, I hope you feel the same way. And so while we're here together, this is an opportunity to get into that vibrational belief that, you know what, I can tap into my best. I can learn how to be 10 times better than who I am right now. I can set my standards higher. I can use my mind a lot better. I can organize my life a whole lot better. I can find wisdom out there that will totally change who I am. How many believe that's true? Right? And what's the definition of insanity?
Same thing as saying having different results.
So until you change your blueprint, until you change your belief system, you will always get the same results. Until you decide that it's time. By the way, who is in control of your mind?
I am.
Are you sure?
Yes.
You're sure you're in control of your mind? Okay, so that little voice that talks to you, does it control you or you control it?
It controls me.
Okay, so in other words, when it gets angry, you don't get angry. You always control your temper, here's the facts, guys. When we come into this world, and if you learn warrior, you know this, we're like an empty container. What are we?
Empty container.
Yeah. And what is our potential when we come into this world?
Unlimited.
Right? But then society, our parents, everybody starts throwing information into our container. True or true?
True.
Okay, now
Contamination.
what problem is that these are their beliefs, not yours. These are their beliefs, but when you're a little infant, if they're their belief, they become
Your beliefs.
Your beliefs. Okay. Now, those are the seeds that begin to take root when you're days old. Right? When you're days old. Now, by the time you're 3 or 4 or 5 years old, every single day, your mind is like a sponge, and it's receiving all of this information from our parents and our friends and on TV and everything else, and it's contaminated with a bunch of lies. But those are our seeds, and we're just too young to know any better, so we believe it must be true. And so now, imagine that your mind is like a field, and your field is totally contaminated with poisonous veggies and fruits and plants. But they seem totally normal to you because you've had them like forever, so they must be true and they must be right. True or true?
True.
And until you understand what I just said right now, you have no chance of ever reaching the top 2%. When you shut that little voice off, and you're just able to very often meditate, that's why I like to hike, because it's a chance for me to just get out there, and I can feel my heart rate going up, and I feel the sweat, and I see the beauty of it, and I just relax my mind, and the more I can shut up that little voice, the more I can get in touch with my true self. Do you guys still have your true self inside of you to this day?
Yes.
The problem is you can't hear it because that little voice is talking so loud that it drowns out your true self. Did you know that? And if you learn warrior, what I'm talking about right now is warrior. And when you begin to just listen to your true self instead of listening to that little voice, want to know what's stopping you? How many of you guys want to become financially free? Okay. Is this something new, or have you wanted to become financially free for quite some time?
Quite some time.
Okay, so why are you all not financially free now? You
Past
wanted it.
planning.
What stopped you? Did your parents stop you?
No.
No. Did the president stop you?
No.
No. Did your kids stop you or your parents? I mean, who stopped you from becoming financially
I
free?
did.
Who?
I did.
Who stopped you guys?
I started.
Yeah, you all stopped yourself. Why did you stop yourself? You want to become financially free? Raise your hand if you want to become financially free. Everybody in this room wants to become financially free, yet nobody is, and everybody agrees that you stopped yourself. What does that tell you about your current program?
It's not financially free programming.
Not the right you.
We've all been programmed. See, this is the perfect illustration that this is why it's so hard. And you know, there are 8,760 hours in a year. Multiply that by your age, 8,760 times your age, and that's how long you've been programmed to think and do things a certain way. So your natural way of doing it, you've done it day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, decade after decade. That's who you are. That's why the old expression, it's hard to teach an old dog a new trick, because they've been thinking the same way so long, that's just who they are. True or true?
True.
That's why the best time to learn something is when you're young. It gets harder as you get older, trust me, I know. It does get harder. But my point is this, is that your old programming, your current programming is not set for success. How many would agree? And the first step of change is awareness. What's the word?
Awareness.
Yeah, Harbecker says it all the time. You can't change something until you become aware of it. Till you become aware that the biggest roadblock to you achieving massive success 10 times faster is your current programming, your current blueprint. How many would agree? This is what I see all the time with everybody. I don't care who they are, that for whatever reason, and like I said, the older we get, the more cemented we get into our belief system. And that's the worst thing that can happen. In a world that's rapidly changing, how many would agree the world is rapidly changing? If we are so tied into our belief system in a world that's constantly changing, we will be left in the dust. True or true?
True.
The world is changing, your belief system has to change. If you're having any struggle in your life, you know who brought that struggle into your life?
Me.
You and yourself. So, you know, there's an expression, and again, it's out of Harv's book, and the expression, you know, Harv says that one of the biggest points in his life was when he met a very, very, very successful man, and he was really struggling, and the man said to him, he said, look, Harv, if you're not seeing all the success that you want, all that means is that there's something you still don't know. And I would say for all of you right now, if you keep coming every Tuesday morning, there won't be anything that you still don't know. You need to know just a few things. But the first thing you need to know is that your current blueprint is not set for you to be successful. You will sabotage yourself one way or the other consistently over and over again. You'll get maybe right to the finish line. You can see it. It's right there in front of you, and something you just won't be able to cross the finish line. Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. I've seen it happen so many times. Again, it's called self-sabotage. What's it called?
Self-sabotage.
Yeah, and we're all programmed to be that way. All right. So what I want to do right now is I want to do the declarations, and then we're going to get into this wealth file. And you know what? I didn't realize how many you guys there were going to be, but we have kind of like, how many of you guys ever went to a Peak Potentials event? Raise your hand if you ever been. Okay, so if you don't know, I was the CEO of Peak Potentials for a couple of years. And what we did is we would take our declaration cards and we put them on, and we laminate them. And that way you can have them in your wallet, right? And I know people that have been to all kinds of Peak Potentials events, and they get one of these cards, and next week I'll bring enough for everybody. I apologize. I didn't go into the office yesterday, so I only have a few here. But we'll hand out a few of these. How many of you guys already have the declarations? How many of you do not? Okay, so we have a few here that do not. Okay, so the people that do not, we'll hand these out to, here, go ahead and hand these out. And if you didn't get raise your hand if you don't have declarations. Right? All right. And next time we'll make sure that we bring enough for everybody. And the sign-in sheet actually has who has the sign-in sheet? Okay, thank you. Very good. Outstanding, good job. All right. Okay. All right. So, you know what, these who can tell me real quickly before we get started, what's a declaration? What's a declaration, guys? Yeah, hello? Are you guys awake this morning?
It's an intention you set out to the universe emphatically.
Yes, it's a statement we say out loud. Remember that. It's not a declaration if you don't say it out loud, okay? So it's an intention, it's a statement we say out loud with an intention, and everything is energy. How many would agree? Everything is energy, right? So when we make a statement and we say that statement out loud, are we sending energy out into the universe?
Yes.
Yeah, and it has its own unique footprint, it has its own unique vibration. True. Now we've sent that energy out into the universe so that not only does the universe hear it, we also hear it, do we not?
Yes.
And the more important thing is we hear it at the subconscious level. What level?
Subconscious level.
All permanent change in your life will happen where?
Subconscious level.
How many understand what I just said? I've been studying human psychology forever. You want to make permanent change, it must be at the subconscious level. You can't just consciously think it. It's like you have to plant new seeds, and you have to nurture those new seeds so that those new seeds take new roots, and those new roots create new fruits. How many agree? How many want new fruits in your life? If you want new fruits in your life, then you have to plant new seeds. How many would agree? Are they planted in the conscious or the subconscious? Okay, so do you have to become an expert at working with your subconscious mind?
Yes.
You have to consciously be thinking about your subconscious mind, right? That's called consciousness. What's it called?
Consciousness.
Yeah, so when ideas and thoughts bubble up from your subconscious mind to your conscious mind, you can say, well, you know what? Those thoughts haven't served me for the last 40 years. I don't really think that's true anymore. I think I'm going to change that thought. That's when you reach a level of consciousness. How many understand what I'm talking about? Because most people, the thoughts that bubble up to your consciousness or your subconscious, do you believe they're true?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course you believe they're true. And if it says take an action, do you take the action?
Yeah.
And if it says don't take the action, do you not take the action?
Yes.
Yeah, we're programmed that way. So every thought that bubbles up from your subconscious mind to your conscious mind, assume that most of it is bullshit, and you'll be right almost all the time. That's why I say, don't believe a word I say. I want you to realize, don't believe a word you say. And if you want total enlightenment, don't believe a thought you think. How many agree? If you begin to start being the radical in your own life, the rebel in your own life, right? Be the black sheep. Don't believe the bullshit that's popping up all day long in your mind. Most of it is contaminated with pure BS. What we want to do is we want to intentionally say, here's the kind of person I want to become. And I want it so badly, I will say this out to the universe and repeat it back to myself and put my hand on my chest so I can feel the physical vibration throughout all the cells of my body. True. Yep, I can feel right now as I'm talking, I can feel that vibration. If you talk right now and you had your hand on your chest, you would feel that vibration too. True. So we're feeling at the physical level. I truly, honestly believe you can change your DNA. You can, if you work out. If you're vibrating at the right energy level, because everything is energy. How many would agree? Right? Everything is energy. So what we're going to do on the count of 3 is we're going to say these declarations. We're going to stand up on the count of 3 with some energy. 1, 2, and 3. Whoa! All right, so put your hands on your hearts, guys. And let's all repeat them together. I commit to my personal development. Whatever I do it 100% or not at all. How I do anything is how I do everything. I say what I mean and I mean what I say. I choose financial freedom and the lifestyle it provides. My goal is to create passive income streams. I will master the skills and mindset of business. I will never quit until I succeed. I have a millionaire mind. To both your neighbors, give them a high five and say, you have a millionaire mind.
Yeah, man.
Randy.
Yeah, man.
Okay. All right. Okay, guys. Great job. All right, have a seat. Have a seat. Okay, so wealth ball number 15, you'll find it on page 155. And I will, you know, every time I read this book, and I read it, I mean, if you look at my book, you can see, I mean, it's been torn, it's been told that my cover's been like ripped apart, I've glued it back together, Scotch taped it back together. I read it over and over and over and over and over again. To me, Harv wrote this book. He started writing it when I first joined him to be his COO back in 2003. The book was published in 2005, and I would say between 2005 and 2019, I've read this book so many times I can pretty much say it off by heart. In fact, I do say it off by heart. You guys actually are listening to me pretty much regurgitate the book. And like, there are a few books that I really know well. Think and Grow Rich, I know really well. This book here, I really know well. And the reason I'm so excited about this book is when it comes to training adults, how to reprogram themselves, Harv is like the total genius. Not only is he a business genius and a marketing genius and a sales genius, he really understood the mind. And he understood how to make things so simple that a high school kid, a grade school kid could understand the stuff, right? Break it down to the ridiculous, right? Well, I use this expression a lot now. But basically, that's what Harv did. And Harv understood one thing. He understood human nature. He understood that if he had a bunch of people, and let's say he had them for a day or 2 days or 3 days, if he stood there, he could stand there and tell them all these brilliant strategies that they could then go and use to go out and get rich. And at the beginning of his speaking and training career, that's pretty much what he did. Until he realized that everybody was coming up and saying, wow, that blew my mind, Harv. That was just so frickin' unbelievable. But they would never do it. What's the sense in telling everybody what to do if nobody does it? And then he said, well, why is it that most people don't do it? Exactly the same reason that most of you guys aren't financially free right now. Guess who's in your own way? Yeah. And he said, until I get you out of your own way, I can't help any of you. I can't. It's impossible. Because I will show you step by step how to become financially free, but it doesn't matter for you because you're not the right person at the right place at the right time. How many would agree? He said, when you become a level 10 unstoppable person, then and only then will you do it. It's like, I can tell you how to climb to the top of Mount Everest, but who's going to have to do the climbing? You are. Who's going to have to take the risks?
Me.
You are. Who's going to have to get in shape? You. Who's going to have to make sure you surround yourself with all the right people and all the right tools and all the right equipment? You. You. I got to turn you into a great mountaineer before you're going to be able to climb Mount Everest. And by the way, becoming financially free in 3 years or less is like climbing Mount Everest. If you're going to climb Mount Everest, how seriously do you need to take it?
What route are you taking?
I mean, if you're going to climb Mount Everest, how seriously do you need to take it?
Very seriously.
Very seriously. How much attention do you need to put on preparing to climb Mount Everest? You start preparing a day in advance, a week, a month, a year, 2 years.
Everything. You gotta put everything into it.
You got to be focused on your physical stamina. You got to be constantly working out. You got to go altitudes so that you get used to climbing in higher altitudes. I mean, isn't that true?
Yes.
How many guys would seriously like to become financially free in the next 3 years? If you're not making the exact same kind of commitment it would take as if you were going to climb Mount Everest, don't even bother. It takes complete and total commitment that you're going to develop a whole new set of beliefs and habits. You have to change your life. Maybe change the people you're hanging around with. Change what time you go to sleep. Change what time you get up. You may have to make a lot of change in your life. People don't like to make changes. People talk about it, but they don't. True. And what Harv says, he says in the first part of this book that we covered a long time ago, he said that there are 4. How many?
4.
Yeah, there are 4 steps you need to do in order to make permanent change in your life. How many go on permanent change? Because until you have that permanent change, you'll get the exact same results you're getting right now. How many want different results? Everybody wants different results. Even no matter how good you're doing, wouldn't you like to be doing better? Sure, absolutely, okay. So the first step of change we already discussed is called awareness. What's the word?
Awareness.
You can't change something till you become aware that it exists. True or true?
True.
The second step is understanding. What's the word?
Understanding.
Understanding means, how in the world did this programming get into my head in the first place? Where in the world did all this ridiculous programming that constantly sabotages me, did I get it from experiences I had when I was a kid and I drew the wrong assumptions? Did I have the wrong people giving me the wrong information? Did I read the wrong books? You know, am I believing in a whole bunch of bullshit that it's time for me to get rid of? And how have these beliefs affected the decisions and choices I've made in my life up until now? You have to understand how your belief system has impacted you up to this point in your life. I will tell you, if you're not as happy as you want to be, and not as free as you want to be, and not as financially secure as you want to be, then you know what? It all boils down to your blueprint, your program. So the third step is this word called disassociation. What's the word?
Disassociation.
Yeah. You know what? Your belief systems, are they true or false?
True.
Are your belief systems true or false?
True. Our belief system stands for BS.
Yeah, that's right.
BS.
Okay, our belief systems, are they true or false? They're not true or false or right or wrong, they're just your beliefs. Did you know your beliefs are just your best guess based on the current information you have on that subject? If you got one new piece of information, you might change your belief system completely. True or true?
True.
What if I told you that if you just changed one thing, you could go from being like you love it to you hate it because now you learned something you didn't know before? You don't know everything about everything. It's just your best guess based on the limited amount of information you have right now. You should be questioning every single belief. Well, if your beliefs aren't bringing you happiness and joy, and they're not empowering and positive, why do you keep them? Do you have any disempowering beliefs?
Yes.
And I guarantee if you started writing them down, you'd realize how many disempowering. Do you have any negative beliefs?
Yes.
Yeah, and I guarantee if you wrote them all down. If you have negative and disempowering beliefs, why do you keep them?
They make me feel safe.
Why wouldn't you prefer to have positive and empowering beliefs?
Because your mind wants to keep you comfortable so that you're safe.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know what? Who's it up to? Does your mind own you, or do you own your mind?
I own my mind.
Okay, well, for most people, that's not true. Their mind actually owns that. When you take the gigantic leap and you understand that your mind currently owns you and you're going to disassociate from it, and you say, you may have been the boss up until now, but things are changing, buddy. I'm taking control. You're going to take orders from me instead of me taking orders from you. You guys understand that?
Yeah.
That's a monumental leap. Now you do that by disassociating from your old beliefs, right? You say, these were my beliefs. This is who I was. This is not who I'm going to be any longer. So I'm going to get rid of those old negative disempowering beliefs. Now, if you understand the way the universe works, the universe abhors a vacuum. So if you take a belief and you move it out, there's a vacuum. You've got to replace it with something else. True or true? Sure. Okay. So the fourth step in permanent change is this word called reconditioning. What's the word?
Reconditioning.
Okay, so we're going to take all of our bullshit, negative, disempowering beliefs that every single one of us has in the millions, probably billions, and we're going to say, these beliefs do not serve me anymore. I'm going to disassociate. What's the word?
Disassociate.
Yeah, and in its place, I'm going to recondition myself with a new belief system. How many understand what I just said? Well, in this book, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, Harv talks about 17 ways and 17 areas where we're going to disassociate from the old and we're going to recondition with the new. And what he said is if you master, what's the word? Master. This is why I read this book over and over and over again. And you know what? This is so important. If we don't finish it today, which we may not, we will cover it again next week because it's just that important. Every single word in this wealth file is worth understanding and discussing. You guys understand what I'm talking about? So he created 17 wealth files. He said, we're going to say, here's what everybody thinks in this one area. I want for you to disassociate from that and recondition yourself with this. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
This is what I want for you guys. If you can do that in these 17 areas, I promise you, your life is going to be transformed. Now, on page 155 in the book, wealth file number 15. So he says, the wealth file reads, rich people have their money work hard for them. Let me hear you say that.
Rich people have their money work hard for them.
Poor people work hard for their money. Let me hear you.
Poor people work hard for their money.
Yeah. Okay. So what he wants is, if you're going to have a financial freedom mentality, you can't be thinking, I work hard for my money. You have to be thinking, my money works hard for
Me.
How many of you have been programmed that way? One? Maybe one? Do you think the majority of people are?
No.
No. From the time we're kids, we're told if we want money, we got to go to work.
Work hard.
Nobody ever said here, and we got to work hard. Nobody ever said what to do with the money that we earn. Right? They just said if you want money, you got to work hard. Right? Pardon me. So Harv is saying, look, right now, I guarantee you, part of your belief system is, I have to work hard for my money. That's part of who you are. That's in your DNA. It's what you believe. And by the way, you do. Rich people do work hard for their money, but it's only for a limited period of time. For poor people, guess for how long it is? Their whole life. Okay. So you have to learn. What's the word? Learn. Come on, twice as loud. Learn. You have to learn about the difference between working hard for your money and having your money work hard for
you.
Yeah. So, what does he say? He says, if you're like most people, you grew up being programmed. What's the word?
Programmed.
Were you programmed growing up?
Yeah.
Raise your hand if you agree. Okay, say, I was programmed growing up.
I was programmed growing up.
Tell both your neighbors.
I was programmed growing up. Programmed growing up.
Yeah, we were all, and so was I, and every person you know in our society and every other society, we've all been programmed, right? We were domesticated. And all the, just like, how many of you guys have ever had dogs or pets? Do you domesticate a pet?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, guess what our parents did with us?
Domesticated.
They sure as heck did. We're just not much different, right? I mean, that's just the way it is. Okay, so it says here, we were programmed to believe that you have to work hard for your money. Chances are good, however, that you didn't grow up with the conditioning, or another way of saying programming, that it's just as important to make your money work hard for you. Why wasn't that put into us from a young age?
Because I don't think my parents knew that.
Yeah, they can't teach you what they don't know themselves, right? Right? And most people, as I say, that taught you about money, A, they didn't have a lot of it to begin with, and B, they had a lot of issues around money.
It's like the story he tells in there where the mother cuts the sides
ham.
of- yeah, the ham off of both
Yeah.
sides.
Hey,
Like,
Grandma,
what?
why do we do that? We said, well, back in the day, the stove was so small, we had to cut it to fit it in.
Yeah.
Exactly. Good point. Exactly. He says, no question. And by the way, I will say this, that I've worked with a lot of hardworking people. When I worked in the corporate world, when I worked for Xerox, when I worked with Deloitte, when I was working with Fortune 500 companies, I mean, we worked our butts off. I've never seen anybody that worked harder than Harv Eker. He ate, slept, breathed the business. You guys know what I'm talking about? It totally consumed him. He was married, he was totally immersed in what it took to build a business. But he said, hey, give me 3 to 5 years, I'll sell for 50 million, 70 million, 100 million. I'll sell for so much money, I'll just live a great life the rest of my life. I'm going to put in my time, I'm going to build a business, I'm going to build a business. I'm not going to own a job. Guys, remember that, right? Because again, I think almost all of you guys here do not understand the difference between being self-employed and owning a business. What I want to teach you guys is, you can be self-employed. By all means, be self-employed. But build a business on the side that can actually be something that's not you. Something that, hey, I got this business, it makes $4,000 a month, it's on autopilot, I got 3 VAs that run it for me. Anybody interested in owning this business? It makes $4,000 after all expenses. Anybody interested? That's a business. I don't have to be there, I don't have to run it, I gotta check in every once in a while, but other than that, it's a little money machine. How many of you guys would like to own 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 money machines? How many believe that once you build the first one, the second one comes easier and the third one comes easier? It is. It's like anything else. You just have, instead of learning what you're learning, do you think there's a way to learn how to build businesses? Yeah. Do you think there are people out there that learn, okay, the first step is we do this, then we do this. Buy E-Myth in one simple book. He'll tell you exactly how to build a business. If you stay up all night, you can read it in 24 hours. True. Yeah. So it's not about building the business. It's do you have the character it takes? Because building any business, man, the first thing you got to realize is 90% of the people you're dealing with out there are incompetent imbeciles. I swear to God. Most of the people I deal with, I mean, none of you guys. There are so many people that are sleepwalking through their day. And if you don't give them explicitly exactly what you want, how you want it, they're late, they screw it up, they don't understand. I mean, I can't tell you how many times during the day I see people screwing up all the time. It's like, because they're just there to earn a paycheck. They're not there because they love what they're doing. They don't really care if they give a great job or whatever, right? They got to be there from 9 till 5 so they get their check at the end of the week. True. Sure. I'm telling you, when you're in business, be prepared to deal with a lot of imbeciles. Be prepared to deal with a lot of flakes. They're going to tell you one thing and then they're not going to do it. You know how many people say, yes, I'll meet you for a 3 o'clock appointment, and then they're late or they don't show up or whatever the case may be. Everybody has a freaking excuse all the time. If you're going to be in business and you assume that if you have 4 appointments every day, all 4 people are going to show up, you're in la-la land. I don't even know where that happens, right? So the thing is, you have to build up your character because you're going to meet cuckoos out there as well. You're going to meet nuts. And for whatever reason, they're having a bad day, week, life, whatever, and they're going to take it out on whoever happened to be in front of them, and right now it's Jonathan Ponciano. And if Jonathan Ponciano doesn't have the character that by the way, is that going to happen for all of us? Happens for me. I swear, I never put out any intention to put out anything but the most positive energy. But yet, even though I only put out the intention for positive energy, it's a numbers game. There's going to be somebody out there who's just having a bad frickin' whatever, and you just happen to be there, and all you got to do is smile. That's all they need for them to go off on you. True. Yeah. And all of us have those kinds of people in our life. And if you're not a level 10 person, that person will take you down. They'll feed you their poison, and you know what you'll do? You'll eat it. And until you become a warrior, you will eat other people's poison. Because do people feed you poison every day?
Yes.
Yeah, they sure as hell do. And unfortunately, far too many of us are very wimpy, and we allow them to eat our poison. Okay, so anyways, he says, there's no question working hard is important, but working hard alone will never make you rich. How many would agree? How do we know this? He says, take a look at the real world. There are millions, make that billions, right, of people who slave away, working their tails off all day and even all night long. Are they all rich? No. Nope. Are most of them rich?
No.
Nope. Are a lot of them rich? Nope. Most of them are broke or close to it. True. Yeah, so on the other hand, who do you see lounging around at the country clubs of the world? Who spends their afternoons playing golf, tennis, or sailing? Who spends their days shopping and their weekends vacationing? I'll give you 3 guesses, and the first 2 don't count, right? So who is it, guys?
Rich.
Yeah, the rich people. He said, that's who. So he says, let's get this straight. The idea that you have to work hard to get rich is bogus. Now, right now, your programming needs to change. It does need to change. You have to completely reprogram yourself. He says the old Protestant work ethic states a dollar's work for a dollar's pay. And he says there's nothing wrong with that adage, except they forgot to tell us what to do with that dollar's pay. True or true? He says, knowing what to do with that dollar is where you move from hard work to smart work. This is where you go into that top 2%. This is where you vibrate at a different level from everybody else. You guys understand what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Hard work to smart work. Right? When you understand that money allows you to work smarter, if you're earning money and you take a certain percentage of it and you leverage it, money is just a form of energy. How many would agree? Okay, so if you want, right now, for most of you, you put work energy out and you get money energy back. Isn't that true? Okay, well what if I could use Scott's work energy and I got money from it? There's still work energy going out there, it's just not mine anymore. True or true? What if I borrowed Scott's money and I had Scott's money energy putting money out there and I got money from that? All right? The energy is still being put out there, right? It's just not my energy anymore. Do I have to work hard? No, I just have to learn how to leverage energy. Which would you rather do? Use work energy or leverage energy?
Leverage.
Yeah, and what we're going to talk about here is how you become a master at leveraging energy. So it's not yours. If I create a system, the system replaces me. How many systems do you have out there right now that replaces you? None. Until you have systems that replace you, guess who has to do everything? You. Now the system could be technology. It could be an autoresponder. It could be a website. It could be all kinds of technological things. True.
True.
Okay. It could also be a VA. Couldn't it be a VA? Yeah, they're doing the work. You're not doing the work. Right. But there are a lot of different. It could be using credit. Somebody else's credit. Somebody else's money. Your money. Somebody else's connections. Somebody else's contacts. Are those all energies? When you become to leverage all that stuff instead of just leveraging your work, which is what 98% of all the people do all day long, you will make infinitely more money working half as hard once you set up the system. That's the work. That's your job. That's what you need to do all day long. Until you have a system, you have to do the work. You guys understand that?
Yes.
Okay, very good. All right. He says, rich people can spend their days playing and relaxing because they work smart. What's the word?
Smart.
Building systems is working smart, you guys. Every day, you know, when I teach the Money Machine Express, in fact, I'm going to do that in the next couple of weeks. You guys need it bad. All day long, throughout the day, no matter what you're doing, you have to ask yourself this one all-important question. And that question is this. How can this be done without me? Let me hear you say it.
How can this be done without me?
Again.
How can this be done without me?
Again.
How can this be done without me?
Tell both your neighbors.
How can this be done without me?
How can this be done without me?
Yeah, how can this be done without me? Look, one of the secrets for you guys to become financially free is to understand this very, 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 very important quote. If you are the main cog in the wheel, eventually you will become the main clog in the wheel.
Yeah.
If you personally have to be there in order for your business to operate, then your business can only grow to the extent that you can personally handle, and that ain't much. Why? Because there's only 24 hours in a day. You are putting a ceiling on your income, and one of the most important things I want all 2%ers to understand is that never, what's the word?
Never.
Have a ceiling on your income. Never. Ever, ever, ever have a ceiling on your income. When you're trading time for money, do you have a ceiling on your income?
Yes.
You sure as heck do. And all of us got to be smart enough so that if we come up with a good idea and nobody in Phoenix is doing it, and nobody else anywhere is doing it, and it'll work in Phoenix, how many other cities can we expand to? You can go from small to large in a hurry in this day and age, sure or true. And by the way, that's how it's done. Or you see something that's being done in LA very successfully, and nobody's doing it here in Phoenix. It's going to come here. You're just going to be the first one to bring it here. Do you think there are successful ideas going on in other cities that if you went to those other cities and went around and just checked out who's doing what, you said, wow, we got to bring this to Phoenix. There's nobody in Phoenix doing this. This is a huge money maker.
Yeah.
Right, true.
Sure.
I mean, but you have to be thinking that way. All right. So he says smart people. He says they understand and use leverage. What's the word?
Leverage.
Come on, twice as loud.
Leverage.
Leverage needs to be one of the most important words in your life from now on. It's got to be part of your DNA. Leverage. Leverage. What's the word?
Leverage.
He says they employ other people to work for them and their money to work for them. That's what he says rich and smart people do. They get other people to work for them. Right? Hey, if I could get you guys to work for $15 an hour and I can go sell whatever it is you're doing for $30 an hour, how much of the work am I doing? I'm making as much as you are. You're doing all the work.
Making more because you're having all the people.
Yeah. Right? Isn't that true?
True.
Yeah. Do you think there are VAs, virtual assistants out there that you can get working for $5-10 an hour?
Yeah.
How many VAs would you like to have out there working for you every day, making $5-10 an hour, and you're getting $30-40 an hour for what they produce?
Thousands.
How many VAs would you like to have? Is there any limit? No. Entrepreneurs, there's no ceiling on our. Yeah, absolutely. I want for you guys to be able to say, if I take an idea and it works in a small little area, man, I can blow it up in a hurry. And this is, by the way, how we do it. You start off with, look at Sam Walton. Raise your hand if you've ever heard of Sam Walton. No longer with us. What was the name of the company he built?
Walmart.
Walmart became one of the world's largest stores of its kind. True or true?
True.
What's his story? He starts off with one small store in one small town, making one small profit. First with him in the store running everything, and then he created systems throughout the store. So this is how we're going to check people in, check people out. These are going to be our vendors. Once he had all the systems in place, he didn't need to be in that store anymore. So then guess what he did? Once he had a small store in a small town making a small profit, what did he do with that system?
Duplicate it.
Yeah. Now, if he had to be in the store in order for the store to survive, how many Walmart stores do you think he would have ever had? One, maybe two. Right? And he'd been working his ass off. But once he had a system, how many different Walmart stores could he open?
Unlimited.
Unlimited, and that's basically what he did, and that's why he became a multi-billionaire. He didn't have multi-billions to begin with. He started off with one small store in one small town making one small profit. True or true?
True.
Right, okay, so this is what you need to understand, because the opportunities for you today to find an idea, to test it like in Phoenix. If it works in Phoenix, what other cities could it work in?
Everywhere.
And if you have something that works and you say, hey, I'm looking for ambitious people in the LA area that would like to that would love to be in doing this, making at least 10 grand a month. If you're interested, contact me. You think you'll hear from anybody? Yeah, you think you'll hear from everybody? Yeah, you'll start hearing from people left and right. How many cities could you do this in? Yeah, now you have JV partners in unlimited cities, right? And you have a vetting process to make sure you don't get a bunch of poops, but that's what you do. Okay, next. He says, yes, in my experience, you do have to work hard for your money. For rich people, however, this is a temporary situation. So what is it?
Temporary.
It's temporary, right? And I will tell you right now that if you're doing the right thing, depending on where you are already on the scale of, on a scale of 0 to 10 in terms of stoppable and unstoppable, if you're at least a 4 or 5, within 12 to 18 months, you all can be financially free. Because the opportunities that exist today didn't exist when I wrote this book. The world has changed so much right now. If you wanted to start selling stuff on a commission basis, and you were really into sports, and you go online and say sports affiliate programs, and then you find out there's virtually every sport on the continent, everything from jiu-jitsu to football to college to pro to you name it, and there's all kinds of t-shirt companies, or there are game companies, or there are gambling companies, or there's a million different kind of companies out there, or how to pick the best winners companies, and all these different things. and you say, hey, would you like to be an affiliate of mine? Sign up for free. Whoever you send to our website that buys, I'll pay you 30%. And now they got a $1,000 program, and now you're saying to all your buddies, hey, go check it out. And a few of them buy something, and every time they buy something, you make 30%. What's 30% of 1,000? $300. Okay, so suppose you could get one person a day to do that. That's $300 a day times 30 days. That's $9,000. Okay, you can start that today. Next hour. Any product, any service, any industry, any passion of yours, that opportunity. How many agree that opportunity exists for you right now? Now, it's not an opportunity if you don't know what to do with it. You have to be prepared. But if you had a huge network of people that all love this, and now you've got the perfect product, and now you've got 10,000 people in your network to contact, and if 500 of the 10,000 say yes, you just made $200,000. Good or good?
Good.
You need to prepare yourself to be doing this stuff, right? This is leverage, right? Really, really important. So Harv does say you do have to work hard, but it's not a permanent situation. You're going to have to work hard for a certain amount of time. And I really believe that for the people here in this room and the people that are watching, it's not an accident that you guys are here. If you weren't capable of doing this, you wouldn't be here. How many would agree? There are no accidents. And if you're vibrating in your higher self right now, you know if you get the right information and you're locked in focus, you can make amazing things happen in the next 12 to 24 months. How many would agree? Everyone. We can all be in Bora Bora having a wonderful old time with lots of passive income, and that's going to happen much faster as soon as you get focused and you change your belief system. How many would agree? Right? That's what Tuesday mornings we are all about. And this wealth file is such an important one because you have to understand that it's not enough for you just to work hard. It's a pretty much a proven formula for working hard your whole life. It's not the formula for financial freedom. How many would agree? The formula for financial freedom is to work hard at using leverage. And leverage is usually in the form of systems. And when you start leveraging systems and you start leveraging people, then great things start to happen. That's not working hard, that's working smart. How many of you guys want to go from working hard to working smart? Unfortunately, nobody's ever taught this stuff, so they just work hard their whole life and think they're doing the right thing. And it's in their DNA and they've done it forever, so that's the way it must be. True or true?
True.
And it's not. And the only way you're going to understand that is when you realize it's like the fish. The fish lives in water its whole life. When does the fish realize that it lives in water?
When it's out of water.
And the only time you can ever realize that you're living the kind of life you're living right now is when you're vibrating like at this level, and you can look and observe. I call it being the witness. Being the what?
The witness.
And really witnessing what your mind is doing to you all day long. And listening to what it says to you all day long. And listening to how it keeps you in your comfort zone all day long. And when you can disassociate, what's the word?
Disassociate.
From your mind. And realize that your mind is nothing more than all the bullshit conditioning you got from everybody else.
Yes.
And now you can say, isn't that interesting? Listen to what my mind is saying to me. Man, I can't believe I buy this shit, but I do. Wow, isn't that? And now you can observe your mind. How many believe you can actually observe your mind? Be a witness. Yeah, and you see how your mind manipulates you. It's scary. It knows you better than you know you. It knows every soft spot you got. It knows every weak link you got. It knows how to attack you. It's sly. It's sneaky. Because it doesn't want you to change. It wants to keep you right inside your
Comfort zone.
Yeah, it does. It does. So you got to be on the lookout all day long for those thoughts that are bubbling up all day long, right? All right, he says, Harv says this, he says, remember, money is energy. What is money?
Energy.
Money is energy. You have to start thinking not just physical. Money is just another form of
Energy.
Thank you. Most people put work energy in and get money energy out. People who achieve financial freedom have learned how to substitute. What's the word?
Substitute.
Yeah, their investment of work energy with other forms of energy. This is critical. Most people don't know this. So they only use work energy because they don't know how to substitute other forms of energy. He says, these forms include other people's work, right? How many of you have at least one person working for you? How many of you don't have anybody working for you? You have no chance. No chance. None. Sorry. Okay, so he says, let's see here. It says, these forms include other people's work, business systems. What's the word?
Business.
Yeah. What's a business system? Yeah, a repeatable process that produces a profit. Let me give you an example of a business system. McDonald's. Is McDonald's a business system?
Yes.
When you buy McDonald's bank franchise, what are you actually buying? System. You're buying their business system. Okay. Somebody created that system, right? Okay. So either you're going to buy a system or you're going to create your own system, and the smartest way if you're going to have your own system is to model other successful systems. Yeah, right. And that becomes your operations manual. What's it become? Operations manual. So that you can pick up people that are really enthusiastic but may not have a lot of education, may not have a lot of experience. But at McDonald's, to run $1 million a year McDonald's store, you need to have a lot of French chefs with cooking degrees.
No.
No, do you need to have any?
No.
No, do you even need to have any adults? No, you have a college kid running a bunch of high school kids. Sure, true. Okay, and you give the kids enthusiasm because all they're going to do is they're going to follow the rules, the system. That's all they're going to do. Whatever the McDonald's system is, you break it down to the point where untrained high school kids within half an hour can be doing their job. Sure, true. Okay, so this is what you need to do with your business. So if you get hit by a car tomorrow, no problem. George, go into my files and click on daily operations. From 8 o'clock to 8:30 we do this. This is exactly how we do it. We get these people together on this Zoom call and we talk about A, B, C, and D. Then at 9 o'clock we do this. And this is how we do it. Then at 10 o'clock we do this. So that if you get hit by a car, you're not the business. If you get hit by the car and you don't have operating systems, what happens to your business?
It goes down with you.
Yeah, you could be in the hospital for 3 months. What's going to happen to your business during those 3 months?
Close the doors.
Yeah, close the doors. You don't have a business. A business says, here's how we do everything. If this person decides they get a better offer somewhere else, I want to be able to say, no problem. We're gonna find somebody that's eager, enthusiastic, to have these skills. And as soon as they sit down, there's 17 different videos they're going to watch. Each video takes 5 minutes. Once they've watched all 17 videos, they pretty much know the entire job inside and out. I give them a week. They got a week to watch these 17 5-minute videos. At the end of a week, if they can't do the work, they can't work for me. Simple, right? How much time am I spending training?
A week.
How much of my time am I spending training?
Oh, not enough.
Who can do the training?
The videos.
Anybody can do the training, right? I can hire anybody, and when they bring in somebody new, they say, here's the videos, watch the videos. Anybody can do the training. It doesn't take up any of our time. True. That's called a
System.
Do you think it might be a good idea for you to have a system for documenting? And there are software programs out there, and there are companies out there that will do nothing, but they'll say, let me help you set up your operations manual so you have one. If you have a business that has operations manual right off the bat, guess what just happened to the value of your business? Because if anybody wants to buy it, you can show them, here's how we do it. Until then, it's just up here. That's not a system. That's you. Right? They can't buy you as a business. They can buy you as an employee. They want to buy a business. I've never seen a business that doesn't have an operations manual. How many of you guys have an operations manual? Raise your hand. A written document? No, nobody does. Okay, you don't have a business. Again, if I go into a room of 100 people, 99 won't have their hands raised. Again, you're all missing the boat. You're all missing the boat. How many of you guys are serious about having a serious business that's going to give you your freedom in the next couple of years? Why are you so lazy on all this stuff? Why do you not do this stuff?
Is a mind map? is a mind map?
No, that's a mind map is it's great documentation. An operations manual says, here are our departments. Here's the head of all of our departments. Here's what they're responsible for. Here's what they do. Here's how they do it. Here's how frequently they do it. Here's how we monitor what they're doing. Here's how we verify they're doing what we said we wanted them to do. Here's how we improve the system when we find something's not working or we find a better way. This is our operations manual. It's this big. You want to know how we do our marketing? We do online marketing. We do offline marketing. We have 3 methods of online marketing. We use LinkedIn, we use Facebook, and we use Google. Here's our LinkedIn strategies. Here's our Facebook strategies. Here's our Google strategies. When you buy our business, all these systems come with the business. They work. They've been working. Let us show you our numbers for the last month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. Day after day, week after week, month after month, this is how many new leads we get every single day. This is how many people that we connect with every single day. This is how we close every single day. That's using this system. Oh, offline, we do live events, we do webinars, and we sponsor other people's events. And we speak at their events. Here's how we reach out to these different organizations so that we can sponsor their events and speak on their stages. Here's how we find events where we get to speak in front of groups of people so we can get our message out. So these are our 3 different ways, and we have staff members that are experts, and that's all they do all day long.
So
Yeah.
I started a mind map, because kind of some what you're saying, and I started doing videos teaching everything that I'm doing in my business so that I can just give a video to somebody, kind of like what you're saying, I think, but it's just more of a video style.
Yeah?
Is that kind of the same thing? I mean,
Well, I mean,
it shows you how to run the business basically if I'm not there. But with videos.
I suppose it's what, if I'm buying a business, think about it. If you were going to buy a business, would you like to sit down with the owner of the business and say, this is my operations manual, this is a document, and it could be online, and it's even more impressive if it's printed out. This is how we do everything.
So I guess I do the same thing, but I just transfer it to writing.
Yep. I mean, really, and there's software out there, and there are companies out there that will really help you. And by the way, I mean, I did this for many, many, many years when I was with Deloitte. Is I would go into companies and we'd say, well, okay, show us how you do this. And we'd sit down and we'd say, okay, well, how do you know that your employees are actually doing what the system says? Well, let me grab 15 files randomly and see if they signed off. It went the way they were supposed to sign off, and they checked off on everything. Oh, well, 7 times out of the 15 that I randomly selected, they didn't sign off and they didn't check this stuff out. Well, okay, so now I know you got a system, but what good is having a system if your employees aren't following the system, right? Or as I'm looking at saying, well, why do you have this step in? You could just computerize this stuff and save like 2 days and 2 employees worth of work. So that's the value of really going in there and looking at all the systems inside a big business. When you're a little business, you still have operations, you still have production, you still have marketing, you still have sales.
Yeah.
Raise your hand if you have all those things. If you're going to be in business, you're going to have all those things. You got to have a product to sell, something. Either you're going to buy the product, or you're going to create the product, or you're going to find the product. But there has to be something you're selling.
Well, or a service.
Well, it's product or service, right? I mean, so that's got to be taken care of. You have to have systems for all of that. Operations, are you going to need finance and accounting? Are you going to need customer support? Are you going to need, insurance? Are you going to need the things that a business needs to run every day? Sure. Who's going to take care of that? Do you have systems in place to make sure that your taxes are paid properly, your insurance is covered properly, you're covering all the regulations, the insurance stuff? If you do have employees, covering payroll, human resources. If you have customers, how do customers reach you, and how do you handle customer complaints and customer inquiries, all that stuff. How about marketing? How are we going to brand ourselves? What's our logo going to look like? What's the name of our company going to be called? What's our tagline going to be? Who's our target market? What's the message we want to send to them? What's our unique selling proposition? How do we make ourselves different from everybody else doing the same darn thing we're doing? Right? How do we do all that stuff? What's that? Time? Yes. Okay. So you know what? We're clearly not going to get through all this well file. But one of the most important things I want for you guys to understand today, I really want for you to understand this, is money is a form of energy. What is it?
Energy.
Okay, so you can either trade your life energy for that money, or you can leverage other people's energy and money to get you the same result. And smart people learn how to leverage money, leverage systems, and leverage other people. Does that make sense to everybody? Yes. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to finish this wealth file next week, but why don't we all stand up right now and do the declaration at the end of this wealth file. Okay, so on the count of 3, everybody please stand up. Whoa. Okay, so the declaration is on page 165. I'll say it first, and then you guys say it after me. God bless you. So I'm going to say it first. My money works hard for me and makes me more and more money. Let me hear you.
My money works hard for me and makes me more and more money.
Again, please.
My money works hard for me and makes me more and more money.
Okay, one more time, twice as loud.
My money works hard for me and makes me more and more money.
Okay, turn to your neighbor, look him in the eye, give him a high five, say, you have a mind. Yeah. All right, have a seat, guys. All right. All right, very good, very good. All right, so at this point, we're going to say goodbye to all of our Facebook friends. Namaste. Thank you guys so much for showing up. Hopefully you played it 100%. We love you.